the March Brothers.
Good morning, Donnie. Thank you for having us.
Good morning, Baltimore.
Yes.
How are you?
Doing great. Thanks, Donnie.
Victor,
Yes, sir.
very well, congratulations on continuing the legacy that your mom, your dad started. How long ago?
54 years ago now, Donnie.
Wow. That means you
Yeah,
grew up in the business?
every bit of it.
You're both a UK, huh? Undertaker's kid. They don't know about Alfred.
How about it, Donnie?
You know, Donnie,
You
you
sure
know.
should.
Yes, sir.
Your dad and my dad were colleagues for many, many years.
Yes, sir. Mr. March always talked about giving back.
Yes, he did.
And you gentlemen, as well as your siblings, you've continued this legacy. Let's get an update. Let's start with you, Victor. What's been happening?
Well, Donnie, a lot has been happening with us. This year alone, we did expand into the Washington, D.C. area, into Prince George's County as well. And that was a result of, over the years, many families have come to us from out of state saying, we really think that, your funeral services have been fantastic. That why don't you come into our areas? And we've been pondering that for a number of years. And back in 2004, we had an opportunity to move into the Richmond, Virginia area.
Congratulations.
Thank you. You know, my sister has been a resident of Richmond, Virginia for a number of years, and it was a good opportunity. We said, well, if we want to expand our market, and God has truly granted us with the expansion of our market, that let's try branding ourselves in a totally new area. And Richmond, Virginia was our first entree into that.
Please share at least what you can of that experience, the whole expansion, because clearly here at Be More News, we're looking at the Prince George's area, the Washington area, and in its entirety, that's the DMV district,
Yeah,
Maryland and Virginia.
that is correct. We felt that we wanted to develop a regional funeral service organization, something that has never been done, particularly in the black community. Yes, they have large conglomerate white organizations throughout the country, but from the African American perspective, there's never been anything that has branched out beyond its local operations, and we felt that this was something that we felt we were in an opportunity to do, and that we were going to brand ourselves beyond Baltimore. And so when we went into the Richmond area, we went into a brand new area, new name, new market, everything, and it has truly been a blessing for us. The first couple of years was a struggle. I'm not going to tell you differently. But today, here we are, 6.5 years later, and we're the #1 firm in Richmond, Virginia.
Praise the Lord. Now, I have that. I'm going to ask you both. I'll start with you, Victor, the same question. When you think about the challenges, and my daddy schooled me to this before he went home, but the conglomerates, a lot of people wouldn't imagine the challenge that the black funeral directors, who have buried in our families for years, particularly when our money was funny. People come to the funeral director, and many a times, I know your daddy, my daddy took shorts,
No question.
but these conglomerates come in, and one of the tricks, or one of the hooks used is, well, hey, use our cemetery. As a matter of fact, you can use our mortician, which is right here on the premises, just like in the beauty salon. We as a black people support the beauty industry, and Rob Redding, in Atlanta, we support it more than anybody, but yet, or even more, we go into the Korean store to buy that fake hair, and then the Korean owner will say it's going in the back. We have a stylist in the back. What challenge have the conglomerates who are not from our community? What do they present to our black funeral directors?
Well, let me say this. For a number of years, the white conglomerates have had an interest in the African American community. Obviously, for them, the only way they were going to do that was to come in and to acquire an African American firm. What happened was that when they did so, the black community became aware of the fact that Mr. Smith down the street no longer owned his own funeral home. And so, the word got out. Word got out through the church that Mr. Smith was no longer the owner, that it was owned by a large white conglomerate. And as a result of that, they lost business. And they lost the business. So they did this across the country. So they figured, well, if we cannot control the market, what we're going to do is that we're going to buy every cemetery that we can possibly buy. And that way we can control the market because you've got to come to the cemetery. So if we can't control the funeral home, then we'll control the cemetery. And as you can see, many of our cemeteries within our area are no longer owned and operated by local organizations. They are all owned by predominantly Wall Street firms throughout the country, predominantly SCI, which is headquartered in Houston. We have Stewart Enterprises, which is headquartered in New Orleans, and they own probably 75% of most of the cemeteries in this area. King Memorial Park, which is my brother, is the president, and he can certainly speak on that. We're one of the only independently owned and operated cemeteries in the state, and we're proud to say that it is owned and operated by the March family.
Baltimore, we're talking with Victor and Eric March, and you can hear us live on WOLBbaltimore.com. Eric, your thoughts?
I'd just like to comment on the fact that we're probably, our industry, the black-owned funeral home, is probably one of the last bastions of black economic strength. And that's a little sad, that we take care of our dead consistently by using a black business. We need to do more in terms of supporting other black businesses as well, because unfortunately they have gone the way of white ownership, Korean ownership, any ownership but our ownership. And we have to really focus on black economics. I think if anything, we realize today that we have the highest unemployment in the country of any ethnic group, and that's not by accident. It's because we don't have enough black businesses hiring black people, and that's the problem. I'm proud to say I'm part of an industry where black folks still support black businesses, and Baltimore has been good to the March family. I want to thank Baltimore for that, and I want to thank Richmond for that as well, and hopefully the D.C. Prince George area will understand what we're trying to do, and that is maintain black ownership of black funeral homes. And we're trying to hire black people. We're trying to spread the wealth to the black community in every way we can. We hire black businesses to support the funeral home. Wherever there's a black business that can offer services or products that we can purchase and use, we support black businesses. And that's the whole point of owning a black business, is to make other black businesses viable and hire these kids off the street so they don't end up in jail because they don't have an opportunity to work.
Amen. Amen.